Hey, health junkies! It's time for The Health Fix. Join your host, Dr. Jannine Krause, as she gives you a dose of what you need to know and do right now to take control of your health from the inside out, to rebel against aging, look damn good, fight stress, and laugh every day.
Hello there, health junkies. Welcome to another episode of The Health Fix. I'm your host, Dr. Jannine Krause, and today we have a really fun episode for you. I have Joetta Cook and Rosie Zorko. I forgot her name, sorry, Rosie. And we are going to all sit around and chat about the LipoMelt Studio here in Tacoma, but also talk a lot about how red light therapy can help you with boosting your weight loss and getting you started on your weight loss journey. And I've had so much inquiry as to how my esthetician progressed and how folks are progressing with red light therapy that I said, heck, I'm going to go over to the ladies' office and we're going to sit together and we're all going to chat. And so first, I would love for both of the ladies to say hello.
Hello.
There they are. And they are going to give you a little breakdown on what's happening here at LipoMelt Studio. But first, before that, I want to have some background in terms of how these two fine ladies got into this. And Joetta, I've been told, has the story. So here she is, folks.
I have the story. So neither Rosie or I have any sort of background in health or wellness other than we're very interested in it. But in last January, we had a friend visit us from Roseburg, Oregon, and she was telling us that she had been to this place in Roseburg, Oregon called LipoMelt, and she had lost 3 inches in one session, and the light melted fat. And we are, of course, astounded. And all of us women, we run straight to the computer because we've never heard of this, and we're sure there's one close because we're going to sign up because this just seems too good to be true. And so we realize as we start looking around online that there are no studios or offices like this on the web. We couldn't find it. So Rosie and I started doing some investigation. Rosie called the manufacturer. We found out that there was a naturopath in, I believe, the Woodinville area, and she had a weight loss clinic, and she did LipoMelt in conjunction with that, and she had just opened up a second place in the Purdy area. And so as we go down this path, Rosie ends up going over to Purdy to see how it works. I go have a treatment. I want to see how it works. And we're doing research, and we can find no downside for why this wouldn't work. And so Rosie agreed to go into partnership with me because she's retired and she can do the day-to-day work, and I run the business. I still have a full-time job and work and live in Seattle, but we are so passionate about this. It is so amazing to be able to help people, and really it seems like magic. Of course it isn't, but it's just an amazing way to help people and help people on their weight loss journey.
Well, and another reason we decided to go into it, this is Rosie, by the way, is my results. I went, as I said, and had it done, and I did 9 sessions, and I lost overall 24 inches, and it was amazing. And the majority of that was in my abdomen area. Mm-hmm.
And that was within a couple of weeks. I saw Rosie. I hadn't seen her for a couple of weeks, and I was stunned.
Yeah, well, it was 9 sessions, and I did 2 a week.
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive. That's very similar to, folks, if you've heard my previous podcast on red light therapy helping to boost weight loss, I talked about my esthetician who I put through the paces because she'd done every other type of weight loss, cellulite reduction, et cetera, treatment within the aesthetics world since she has been in the world since like 1985 or something. Anyway, she lost a total of 9 inches, and we determined it was in 12 weeks, not 20.
12 sessions.
12 sessions,
yes.
Not 12 weeks. Okay, 12 sessions, because I said 20 before. I totally lied. There you have it. Liar, totally admitting myself.
Right.
Yes, I got to get my data right, and I'm very big on that, folks. And if I mess up, I'm going to tell you. Okay, Rosie. So we've talked about inches. Mm-hmm. What about pounds in terms of weight loss since you started on your journey?
Okay, so since when I first did the 9 sessions, I followed the protocol exactly like you're supposed to, eating a healthy diet, drinking lots of water. That's important. And I lost 14 pounds. Since then, I've lost more weight because, I'm sticking to the program. Like everyone, I have my ups and downs. But I've lost in total 26 pounds. And I'm still on the journey. I have more to go, but I'm confident I'm going to get there.
That's huge. That's huge. So we're talking about the program, and I think this is important to mention because I mentioned with my previous podcast that you were doing, we had talked about milk thistle to help to clear the liver out. What else do you have on board right now?
Okay. So some of the other things, the milk thistle is one thing. We also have you do a compression garment that you wear after the treatments. And then, of course, always drinking plenty of water is important. And now we've just brought online a nutrition supplement that we offer. It's not required that you do it, but we found it's very beneficial. I've been on it for a month now, and I really like it. It helps curb your appetite all naturally without synthetic product, and it tastes good.
And I looked at the ingredients, folks. I haven't tried it myself yet. I do want to, and I can give you an update on it. It has moringa in it. We have a combination of essential oils that goes along with it. And from what the ladies tell me here, the essential oils are what are really helpful for curbing the appetite. Yes. And what's in there are mostly peels of citrus. So we've got tangerine, we've got lemon. I noticed both of those. And in the Chinese medicine world, citrus is huge for helping to move the liver. And while that might sound really strange to you, it's helping you with digestion because orange peel, lemon peel helps with the bile acid production. So it's helping you with digestion because part of our problem is that it's not that we're super hungry. It's actually that we're not absorbing the nutrients that we have taken in. And so the body thinks we need more food. And so it might be helping on that level to help you with digesting what you've ate earlier or what you've consumed earlier in the day. But also, if we look at a little woo-woo into the Chinese medicine world, the stuck liver is related to stress. And so if we're moving the liver in terms of the emotions and blood flow and things of that nature, using the tangerine peel and lemon peel, and by the way, these are things that are used in old school Chinese medicine formulas that are extremely helpful for appetite suppressant, but also extremely helpful for just nutritional value in general. And this is not caffeine based. There's no junk in these products that the ladies are talking about. And I will put a link to them at the end of the podcast in my podcast notes at drjkrauseND.com. It's called Zija. It is ZJ. Okay, looks like Zija. Z-I-J-A. But I will get it all put together. I'll be honest, folks, I haven't tried it like I said before. So I will try it. We'll give you a review on it. But it'll be at the end of this podcast just so you know what the ladies have been using because I think it's important as part of the program. Now, a lot of people always ask me if I come into LipoMelt, am I going to get a meal plan that goes along with the program? And I saw you guys had some data and some packets. Is that still the case?
So we don't advocate a specific diet. There's lots of diets out there. You can lose weight on all kinds of diets. But what we do advocate is eating real food. Eat healthy. Cut back on your calories. With our protocol, we also ask that you not drink wine. The liver is going to process...
Or any alcohol.
The liver is going to process the alcohol before it processes the fat. We can melt the fat for you, but it's important that you follow the protocol and drink water, stay away from alcohol, and give your body and your liver a chance to process that fat.
And again, drink water.
Lots of water, lots of water. This new product, we have tested several products because we are firm believers that we don't want you just to come in and lose inches. We want you to be healthy. We want to help you on that journey, and that's what we are best at, what this new technology is best at. And as part of that, we want to be able to offer you solutions for long-term health. And we believe with this new ZJ product that we're going to be able to do that. So it's not a meal replacement. It's something that will help your body be healthy, and then you can shed the fat. So if you come to us and you have problems with your liver, we can melt fat, but you might have an issue processing that fat and having it go out of your body. So it's really important that your body is healthy and that you eat as well as you can. So that's going to be a huge help in your success.
Absolutely. I think it is important to mention that in terms of, getting in with your doctor before you go to consult for red light therapy such as LipoMelt, because you want to make sure that you have a liver that functions properly. If you have gallbladder issues, that means you have liver issues. And this is a big deal. A lot of folks need this help in their mind, in terms of red light therapy to get them boosted to see a little results so that they can keep going and stick with their weight loss program. But sometimes we have to think properly on this and go back to basics and go, okay, is my body healthy enough for LipoMelt? And I think one of the most important things that anyone needs to think about when they're in this realm is we need to make sure that all of our outlets of elimination are working. So the ladies were mentioning a lot about water and making sure your kidneys are eliminating properly, make sure your liver is moving properly. If you're constipated, that's a whole nother ball game. You might want to start to work on that with the doc to kind of get things moving, because I don't know how many times people come into my office and they're going like, well, I tried that, it didn't work. I tried this, it didn't work. I just keep gaining fat. It's just incredible. I don't know what to do. And part of it is you've got to do some of your homework.
Right.
And so the ladies here are big on making sure that you get your homework done. And part of the homework that I ask these gals to do for me is to help with telling us a little bit more about what they've seen in terms of folks that are coming into their office, in terms of success rates. So who wants to start with summarizing some of the success we've seen here?
I'll turn that over
Rosie's
to
does
Joetta.
Most of the sessions. I'm down on Saturday because I have a real job, full-time job. This is my passion and my hobby. But we have one client who came to us, and she had been on a keto diet. She had lost 30 pounds, and she had plateaued. So she purchased 20 sessions. She has been through 10 sessions, and she lost 15 inches. Now, this is not someone who is extremely overweight, but definitely has some inches to lose, and she's thrilled. She has 10 more sessions to go, and that's a pretty significant inches lost. And we do measure several places on your body. It's not just one spot. We measure your waist and your hips and your arms and your thighs, depending on where you want us to focus. But 15 inches in 10 sessions, she's very happy.
Yeah, absolutely. So. I think a lot of people would be curious in terms of the device that you're using for measurement. And I know you just got a new one not too long ago, so tell us about that.
We did. When we started off, we were measuring by hand. So when you come into the studio for the first visit, we measure you, we put you on the machine, and then we measure you again, and you'll see one of two things. You'll see inches lost, and sometimes you'll see inches gained, and that means the machine is also working because the fat is in the tissues, and it inflames the tissues. So sometimes you'll see an actual increase, but within the 24 hours that will be flushed out, and you'll be losing inches. So what happens is we have purchased a 3D imaging machine, so rather than measuring by hand, which as well as we try to mark you up and make sure we get the same spots, it's a bit subjective. It can be a bit subjective. But we have a 3D imaging machine. We put you on the platform. It does a 360-degree turn, and we get a digital image of you. So we're able to be more precise in showing clients their success, and we can get good measurements from there.
And you track all of that every single visit. And do you tell everybody kind of every visit they come in, okay, this is what we got this week, that's what we got next week, and we just keep going, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that. I think it's important. I think for a lot of people, we need to see the numbers to keep feeling that something's happening, to keep, that mental aspect of, okay, I am making progress. I can do this.
And the beauty of this system is it's safe, and so we want to give your liver 24 hours to process the fat, but you can come in every other day. And when you can come in every other day or 2 or 3 times a week, and you can see that fat loss happening that quickly, it's a huge incentive.
Absolutely. Have you found that 2 or 3 days a week seems to be ideal in terms of data, or not quite there yet in terms of data?
We haven't had many people who can make it 3 times a week. Most have come twice a week, just because of schedules and work and life.
Yeah.
So most people come twice a week. We've had a few that come 3 times, but I haven't really noticed like 3 times a week it's more inches than
You're just more inches because you're here more often.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Yeah, I haven't seen. Twice a week is good. Yeah, we say a minimum of once a week. We had one client who could only come in one time a week, and she lost inches as well, and was happy with her results. Yeah.
But if you buy 6 sessions and you only come in once a week,
That's 6
and you've got
weeks.
the whole week to overeat and
Yeah.
come back to us, we don't want you losing the same inches over and over again. And
Yeah.
typically, that's what's going to happen. So we want you to come in, and we want you to stay focused on it. We want you being able to measure that progress, because that's what's going to happen. You're going to get frustrated, and you're going to think that our machine doesn't work if you're not dedicated to the program and you're not eating correctly, and you just come in once a week or once every 2 weeks, and now you're losing the same inches over and over again.
And the
that's
person who
not
did
what we
come
want.
in once a week was very motivated, and she worked out at the gym. She worked out with a personal trainer. She was motivated to stay on track. So that's why she had good success as well.
Okay, that makes a difference, because what Joetta's talking about in terms of they're losing the same amount of inches, it means that they just go back to status quo. It's like they'll lose, then we'll go back. Then they'll lose, then they'll come back. And so what that means is that the liver's getting all gunked up, for lack of a better term, during the week. And so, yes, the machine, in terms of the red light therapy, can only get a certain amount of efficacy in her system because she's not doing her homework, for one, but also we need to have some more frequency. And I like the 2 days a week and separating them out a little bit to let the liver, kind of do its thing, process everything that's been melted, because we also have to think about, all of those toxins and things that are being dumped out through the system. Right. Has anyone ever said that they felt kind of sick after a treatment or anything? Anyone ever had that?
I haven't had anyone say they feel sick after the treatment. I have had some people say, we put you part of the whole process is after the treatment we put you on a total body vibration machine, and I've had a few people say it made them itchy.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Because their muscles are tensing.
Yeah, I'm thinking that. I'm also thinking histamine release with the fat melt. That could be a definite possibility. Also seeing those toxins get in the system, and then the body create histamines in response to them. That makes sense. Now, one thing we didn't talk about here, and I think it's worth a quick recap for the folks, is how does a treatment look in terms of wrapping folks up in the LED pads? Who wants to go talk about that?
So we have 6 pads. One of the things we haven't talked about as well is that we have the 6 pads we have red light in them. They also have near infrared light that you can't see. The near infrared light stimulates collagen, elastin, and tightens the skin. So while we're melting fat, we're also tightening the skin. So we also have a face mask that we can put over your face that will tighten your skin. So that's another thing that we can do. But we have 6 pads of varying size, and depending on your size, if you're quite large, we might need to use the majority of the pads to go around your waist and your stomach. That's typically where people want to lose weight. But we can target your arms, your upper arms, your stomach, your hips, your thighs. We literally wrap you in these pads, and I forgot to say that we do need skin contact. So you would need to come in a bathing suit or bikini, or most people do it in their underwear. It's pretty easy to be comfortable with Rosie and I. So people get used to that. We have skin, we just tighten the pads around you. You lay on a bed for 20 minutes. We turn the light on. It's comfortable. We give you nice, relaxing music. Most people tend to go to sleep or wait a minute, are we over yet? So we do that, and then we measure. We put you on a vibration machine. So that's pretty much the protocol.
Okay, so for those of you that didn't listen to the previous podcast, that's a quick recap of what happens in a session with LipoMelt. So let's get into more things that you've seen with clients over time.
Well, we've had various things. We've had a couple clients, one a younger woman, one an older woman, who both came to us for the same reason. The older woman, her daughter was getting married. She'd already purchased a dress that was a sheath, and she wanted to get as much fat off her body as she could, because she had to get in that
Being
dress,
cheap.
and she wanted, to look good. And she came and she did both the face and the body. I think we got the best review from her ever. She was just glowing. She was happy. She was happy with the tone of her skin. She was happy with the fat loss. And we had another woman who was younger, a professional woman, who was going to had a dress. Again, she was going to be speaking at a national convention. And again, wanted to look her best. And she also was very happy. She got in her dress too. So those are some reasons why people come, just for like a short term, like 6 sessions, and just tune up the body, as best as you can. And we have another woman who is getting married, and she wants to be in the best possible shape for that wedding dress. And then we have people all across the boards, basically, some that have a lot of weight and fat to lose, and they're having great results too. My one client we had, well, I couldn't call her a client because she didn't actually buy a package. But she was very concerned about having the procedure. And as Joetta said, you have to have skin contact. And she was concerned about taking her clothes off. So, yeah, she went through the procedure, but she did not come back.
Well, and I think there's some, something, a lot of people don't want to take their clothes off because they're afraid of getting burned. I've had a couple of patients say that they're worried about inflammatory reactions as a result of the LipoMelt. In fact, even one gal that I had referred had said that she was terrified because of the heat reaction that would happen within her body. And I tried to explain that it's not the same as, say, a tanning bed or something of that nature. So I think a lot of people are thinking tanning bed when they think about the panels.
No. It's non-invasive, very comfortable. You will not get burned. You will not get black and blue. You will not have anything. In fact, as Joetta said, a lot of our clients fall asleep during the process, and it's very relaxing. In fact, we had one client who came in and she bought 12 sessions, and she just was concerned about one little place on her abdomen. She couldn't work it off. Ever since she had her kids 14 years ago, there's this one part she couldn't get rid of, and she worked out and ate right, and she did her 12 sessions. She lost it. She got into jeans she couldn't get into before. All her pants were looser, and she was a great success. And then she signed up for another 12, which, frankly, I was surprised. And so she did the next 12, and I asked her at the end, well, that I was kind of surprised. Why did you sign up for another 12? Because she didn't have anything to lose,
Yes.
And she said, I found this so relaxing. I did it for me time. It was a way to pamper myself and also benefit my body at the same time. And she finished that 12 just recently, and she says, I'll probably see you again. I'm thinking probably after the holidays.
Yeah. And that's something to think about with red light therapy and near infrared therapy. It's good for your cells because it's helping to keep them young. You talked about collagen induction and helping with collagen processing. It's also something to consider for just keeping your cells young. It's a mitochondrial booster, as I've talked about previously when I talked about other red light therapy devices that I use in my office for helping with pain and things of that nature. The difference between my products that I have in my office and what these guys have, though, is mine are not as strong because we don't have as many concentrated lights. So it's a different concept. But I do think that it's something to think about for me time. It's me time with a benefit, because yes, you can go me time and you can go to the spa and just sit around and go to the hot and cold pools and relax. But this would be me time that's helping with your cellular energy and helping kind of turn back the clock as you're having me time. So it's like double me time. Me time on steroids.
Exactly.
So now I'm curious about the gal, though, because you were saying she had little pooch or pocket treatments, because I have a lot of people, I call them pocket treatments, because we'll have little, I'm pointing to my saddlebags right now, folks. right here on the sides of my legs, I'm always like, oh, those are so gross. Why? I've cupped them. I've put all kinds of essential oils on them, and I work out like crazy, and still there are these little dimples that I get, and I've had them since I was 16. And so I go, okay, that's been fat storage that I've had since I was a kiddo. And the gal, she said 14 years ago she had the kiddos. I'm wondering, in this case, have you seen a lot of folks change the composition of what the skin looks like? Or Rosie, maybe did you see this in your skin where it was dimpled more? Did the red light therapy not only shrink that tissue but change what it looks like in terms of dimpling?
Well, I am not a good person I have this crazy thing, and you're going to think it's really crazy that I'm even in this business, because I have a problem that I don't see people. I mean, you can be overweight and you'll look fine to me. You could be underweight, you'll look fine to me. I just don't really, you have to be either really huge or really tiny for me to notice a weight change.
So with you,
it's same thing with me. I didn't even know I was fat until all of a sudden I have to get really heavy and then go, oh man, you're fat. But I mean, I put on 10 pounds and I go, well, I still look good. I mean, it's just the way I view people. So
talk about Donna and her.
Oh yeah, Donna, that's good. Thank you. So we had one client, and her main concern, I mean, we treated other parts of her body, but she had these on her arm. They were like fat lumps that she'd had for years and years. Yeah, and her family has it. And so she really, she wanted to work on that arm, and we did, and she said, I can feel they're smaller. It didn't get rid of them. She did 6 sessions, but she signed up for another 6 that she's holding in reserve. But she did, yeah, exactly. So she did notice an improvement. And again, like the woman who was getting ready for her daughter's wedding, she said she really noticed an improvement in her skin. And so people are noticing it. I'm sorry,
that's okay.
I don't see people that way.
Well, it sounds like I need to bring my saddlebags in.
Yes,
I know I've been saying this, folks. I am planning to do it after the first year because, yes, I'm one of those people that I wanted to do it right. I wanted to make sure I was getting at least 2 days a week. Right now, my schedule's a little crazy. After the first of the year, things get better because in my world, everyone's trying to meet their deductibles right now. So I am busy like crazy in my office. But as soon as I can get into January, I will try it and I will do a recap on what happens with me because I have spots in areas where I've got things that I need to work on, and I want to really see if it is useful for spot treatment, because in the universe right now, in terms of spot treatment, nothing really does a great job for targeted spot areas. We know we can't work out certain areas and expect that that's going to go down, and so I'd be curious as to if getting the cells in that area that your body's forgotten about since maybe I was 16, that if we can induce them to start doing something.
And what we've seen and what is kind of standard across using this equipment is people lose the most in the abdomen and then the thighs.
Because there's more fat.
Same thing. And then the thighs and then the arms. And basically because those are where the larger fat deposits are. So it's in that order. So that we've seen, and that all our results, our statistics
Stomach and
say.
Hips. And high hips, low hips.
The torso, and then thighs, and then arms.
Okay, so a lot of common problem areas that a lot of us complain about. So that's good. In terms of ratio, guys to ladies, how much more in terms of one versus
We've
the
had
other?
more women than men, but we have had some men, and most of the men are just concerned about their belly. And I even say, I have extra pads. They go, nope, just the belly. That's the only concern they have.
We had one gentleman come in, this is kind of funny. He didn't have that much to lose. He exercised, and when you looked at him, you think, I'm not sure we can help you. And we're going to be upfront with that if we don't think we can based on your health issues and what you have going on. But he did the first session, he lost inches. He decided he didn't really believe it was going to work, so he didn't buy a package. So rather than saving money and buying a package, he paid for individual sessions until he actually got down to where he wanted. And every time he came in, he didn't believe it would work, but it did work.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about him.
Paying premium one session at a time because he just didn't believe it was going to work. And at the end it did.
Well, there you have it. There you have it. But, I think it takes all kinds to go through the process. And I think what's important is the packages are there because, the doctor who created this, remind me his name.
Rothschild.
Okay. Dr. Rothschild. Okay. All right. So the fellow that created this, suggested packages because of the amount of treatments that it would take to get to a certain point.
Right.
Now, in terms of you get your success, right? What's maintenance like? What do you typically do for maintenance?
Okay. What we recommend for maintenance is a once-a-month treatment. And for 2 reasons. It keeps you honest. You have to come in, you get measured, you get weighed. And kind of if you know that's coming, it helps. I mean, if you go back to old ways, start drinking a lot of booze, start eating a lot of fat, it's going to come back. I mean, it's not a magic bullet. It's just, but, some people do buy maintenance packages. Some people don't. But we recommend once a month is really help keep you where you want to be.
Nice. And if someone is, say, has a lot to lose, let's go with someone who's maybe, 100, 150 pounds overweight, and we're going down the schedule. Would there be any reason with them, coming, say, twice a week for 20 sessions? Would there be a reason to take a break between those 20 sessions, or could you just keep going?
You could keep going as long as you wanted to.
Okay. And there's no, contraindication, anything like that. Nope. Obviously, if their health changes, that's a thing.
Right.
But as long as everything stays status quo. Okay. Because I was curious about that. I mean, in my thought process of how this works, you could do this to infinity. There's really not a point unless we end up with someone that really doesn't have any fat on them. Then
or
I'm worried about their cells.
I mean, there are times first sessions are free, so because we want to see if it's going to work for you. And we've had people who didn't lose on the first session, and we don't know why that is. It could be because of the tissue being, or the fat going into the tissue and expanding it, or it could be because you have high stress. Your liver's not processing it. So
your lymphatic system is sluggish.
So we've had people that we've said, okay, come back for one more. We're going to do another free one because we want to make sure this is going to work for you. And so if you get to the point of where you're not losing anymore, then we know there's something else going on, and we're going to refer them to Dr. J or to someone that can help them. Go see your doctor, go see someone about a lymphatic treatment. Let's try, and we have a couple of people right now that we've stopped in the middle and said, look, you're not losing as fast as we think you should, so go see someone who can do a lymphatic treatment for you. Go, let's explore what's going on and come back and finish up. So we want to make sure, I mean, we don't just want to take your money and treat you that way. We want you to succeed, and we want to make sure that your body's working well enough that this will work for you.
What is the parameters that what are the parameters that you use to say, okay, this isn't working, and so how long would you let someone go where they're not losing, and then what do you expect each session?
One of the other things that becomes tricky is when someone comes in, a lot of people will say, oh, I'm eating right, oh, I'm exercising, oh, I'm taking care of myself. And so at some point there's always that, okay, let's talk about what you're doing. We had one client who, I'm doing everything right. In some cases, you can look at people and they're not doing everything right, but they're not going to tell you that up front. Sure. And so we try to talk to them. What are you eating? How are you taking care of yourself? So we try to go in and figure out if there are issues related to their diet or their habits that we can kind of address. And if they're doing everything right, then we're going to, if we don't see weight loss or see fat loss, and you're overweight and you should be losing it, then we know there's something going on with your lymphatic system or your liver, that your body just simply is not processing it. And then we want you to go see somebody and find out what that is, because there's no point in us, and we don't want to do harm to someone who are melting fat and the liver's trying to process it and can't either. We want them to be successful. So we do have some people who are small enough that there's just not a lot of fat to lose, and the light actually goes in about 1.5 inches to 3 inches. So if you don't have a lot to lose, there's going to come a point where you're just going to, it's just not going to be effective anymore. So
on that plane, I guess you could say, because technically, on that plane, if someone, I mean, there's a fine line between body dysmorphia and all, and eating disorders and all those other different things that come into play.
Right.
But also, I do believe that all the red light therapy has benefits for anti-aging no matter what.
It does.
However, I do commend you for being like, look, I really don't, in this case, it's going to do anything for weight. But anti-aging wise, sure, we can prime your cells to be nice and happy.
Right.
So, yeah, that's one of the things. It's hard. It's a hard realm to go in, because I'm sure you guys kind of feel like you're counselors some days.
We are, actually. I mean, we didn't realize we were going to be, but we are.
Yes.
And the thing is, they a lot of times fess up after, if like they've gained. Mm-hmm. You go, okay, so what have you been doing? And Halloween was around the corner. Mm-hmm. That was a big trip up for a lot of people. Yeah.
Halloween. Now we just got past Thanksgiving, and now we're headed into Christmas.
But one good thing is the one woman that Joetta talked about earlier who had lost 30 pounds, and she was here, and she still got a good amount to lose, but she has 2 children. She's got a large family. They cook a lot, and her weigh-in after Thanksgiving, she lost inches, and she was so happy because she'd gotten through. She goes, oh, I got through Halloween and I was bad. And, oh, I got through Thanksgiving and I did eat 1 plate of everything, with all the stuff on it. She goes, but I didn't go back for seconds, which she normally would have,
Yeah.
And so, and she lost inches, and she actually lost weight from a previous, not from the one before, but she'd lost 4 pounds in, a couple weeks. So, over that period, that was all this
over Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and after Halloween too. So so she was very happy.
I think that's important you mentioned that about, celebrating the holidays, doing what you're going to do. I think it's hard to be on a diet plan and then go through the holidays, because let's face it, it is so hard.
Well, and that's another reason for maintenance, is because none of us are perfect. I mean, you're going to have times when it's just difficult, and you're going to So the maintenance is
and I always tell my clients, you could have it, but maybe not as much as you used to have. Do a smaller portion.
Keep it on,
or
keep going.
Don't go back for seconds. Don't or just don't eat the whole piece of pie. Have half of it, and you could still enjoy it, but
it's hard. It's hard. It's really hard, especially I think a lot of people with the stress component too, and the cortisol.
Stress is a big one.
That's a big one.
Mm-hmm. For a lot of us, the belly weight gain, I think for many, I mean myself included, but also going back to the maintenance for the stress component, your gal who wanted to come in just for me time. I mean, I think for a lot of people out there coming in regularly for stress management, because the red light therapy does have some great benefits just for that and negating some of the effects of stress on the body too.
And we're just wonderful people. You would love to come and see us.
Well, in fact, I can tell you one more story.
I want to hear all your stories.
Another one of my favorites is, as you mentioned before, people, they get down to their bra and panties, most of them, right? And so one of my clients had come for several times, and I went in, she goes, okay, I could tell I'm really comfortable with you, because usually before I come here, I make sure I'm wearing pretty underwear. And today I'm wearing the old stuff.
That's when you've made it with making folks feel comfortable, when they will bring in their crusty panties, I call it, or the period panties, and they're totally fine with having them in with you. It's just, that's how you know you've made it with someone.
Well, yeah, and I had one client come in, and she says, I'm on my period. Is that a problem? I said, not at all. So...
Another good thing to mention, because I think a lot of people would be a little leery, like, oh, I don't know, is that going to affect things? Is that going to cause any issues?
I mean, it could mean that you're not going to show weight loss from your previous time here, because
if you're already bloated
from your, I mean, that could be an issue. That could be. It doesn't mean you're not melting fat. It just might not show up in the measurements at that particular time.
And she was more concerned was it like, I can't come in because of that time of month,
Sure, but these are things that people ask. What other things do people ask? Can I come in because You know, I'm hoping they're not calling you and saying I'm drunk and I come in there something, you know, but one of
They
the
don't
things.
tell us that part.
Sure. No, yeah, that's true. That's another part of one of those non-disclosures.
I don't know.
No.
I don't know. I can't.
There haven't been any issues.
Okay.
We've had some people who they call us several times just to chat before they actually come in and to ask questions. And
we also have clients, sadly, that will come in and do several treatments and be effective and lose inches, and then we don't see them again. And I know it's because they've
they still have
fallen off
and
the
they still have
paid for
sessions, you know, paid for sessions
But
available.
I know that because I know human nature. I know what I'm like. Oh well, I screwed up, so I'm just. It's no point in going in because you know. But those people are not. We want to make sure people are dedicated to doing this and be successful. And some people just aren't going to do that.
Well, that, and I think also, though, the all or nothing component is something important to bring in, because I think a lot of people will go, you know, same with the diet. Oh, I didn't keep my keto diet going. Right. I'm just going to eat whatever now. It's all over. Whereas you can turn it around. If you had a bad week, you could come back in, you know, get the cells primed back up again and move forward.
And we're not going to yell at you. If anything, we're going to help pump you up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I think that's another thing to think about. And folks out there, both Joetta and Rosie are lovely folks. They're normal individuals. And when I say normal, so here's my thing about normal. Normal's probably a dumb word. Actually, I hate the word normal. It's like diet and normal, not good words. But they come out. But the thing about what's intimidating for a lot of folks, I've been into really shishi spas. I used to work at one in Chicago that I felt like I had to weigh like 110 pounds to be in there the whole time. Otherwise, I just didn't feel right about myself. And the point I'm trying to make here is that this is a no judgment zone. It is a great, comfortable space to hang out with these two ladies. And if you're looking for a LipoMelt studio in your area or somewhere that has the same qualities that these folks are talking about here, I think it's important to feel comfortable. And if you don't like where you're at, I think it's important to find somewhere else.
Absolutely.
Because it's all about how you feel and how welcomed you feel in an area. I also truly believe that that's how folks get the success that they need, because you need someone that's going to support you, not someone that you're going to walk in there, you're going to feel extremely intimidated by. And so I think that's another thing to really think about, especially if you're dealing with eating disorders on top of weight, on top of, you know, stress and anxiety. You just need some place that feels safe. And these guys have definitely made a place that feels safe. And I just love the decorations in here. They need to come to my office because my office is terrible.
I'm just saying.
It is, and that's why
job.
I tell everybody. Everyone who always says, "I love your decor. I love your design." I go, "That's Joetta. It's all
I
Joetta."
do it like my home. It's like my second home.
Oh, see you guys. So I think this is just a great place to kind of sum up everything in terms of our podcast. You know, when you're looking for support with your weight, it's a very personal thing. It is not something that you can just walk in and treat it like a widgets factory. And these ladies definitely do take good care of you. And I think it's important, if you're in the Tacoma area, coming down here and hanging out. But if you're not in the Tacoma, Washington area, finding a place that you feel comfortable, finding a place that you can have all of your questions answered, because these two ladies are an open book. I drill them about all kinds of crazy things and they've got answers for me. And so with that being said, I want you all to research, you know, the areas that you're in, and make sure that if you have a place, find a place that you feel comfortable. If not, reach out. We can always help you with finding more resources as well. And if you're in the Tacoma, Washington area, I want these ladies to tell you how you find them and what best ways to get a hold of them, and we'll sum it up on that.
We are in the Proctor District. Our address is 2702 and a half North Proctor. We're on the corner of Proctor and 27.
Second floor.
Second floor in the brick building. Anyone who's familiar with Proctor will probably know the Northwest Shop and where the Proctor Market is every Saturday, and that's where we're at. Our website is www.lipomeltstudio.com. Our pricing is listed there. You can make appointments there. There's lots of great information on the product and what we do and what it does and how we do it.
And pictures
of people who have been successful at this. So yeah, come see us. We'd love to.
And also on that website, you can schedule your first appointment and it's free, as we mentioned.
True.
And you can schedule it online, and you'll just go and check what time you want to come in. And first session, you should plan for an hour and a half.
Okay. So carve out some quality time for yourself. And with that being said, Joanna and Rosie, thank you so much for agreeing to meet with me and give the folks a little bit more of a follow-up to my initial podcast on the red light therapy and near infrared therapy. And for all of you out there, you guys have survived another episode of The Health Fix. I'm your host, Dr. Jannine Krause. You can find all of the notes and resources we mentioned on my resources page at drjkrausend.com, and you can also go to my podcast notes, and I will have more info there as well. Alrighty, have a great day, whatever you're doing. Hey everybody, Dr. Jannine Krause here. If you liked what you heard today, then head over to drjkrausend.com to find my free resources and information to know when I post something new that's juicy that you might want to check out. Plus, head over to where you get your podcasts and subscribe, and write a review to help get the word out about me and help others at the same time to find me. It really does help, and I really appreciate all of your reviews.